Well, it's happened. We finally got to see Pennywise, and all we had to do was watch 5 of the 8 episodes to do it.
Are you kidding me?
So at the beginning of the episode, Marge is at the hospital and she has told everyone that Lily is not the one that hurt her. She now believes that Pennywise exists and the two become friends again, which was actually nice to see. And she's even left that bitchy club. The rest of the school are not convinced, however, and think that she's just covering for Lily. Although we don't get to see any of that in this episode. We don't get to see Patty's reaction to Marge leaving either. What we do get to see though is Matty. He's still alive. Or is he? Your first instinct would be to think that this is Pennywise, but they really present it like this is the real Matty. I, however, was skeptical as soon as Matty didn't want to involve the cops. This is such a dumb thing to suggest, and his reason is because he's afraid of being sent back to his father. And in his words,
I'd sooner go back to the sewers than there.
I would have just ambushed him with the cops. His disappearance has caused a lot of shit and pain to innocent people, so I wouldn't have cared what he said. I would have brought the cops to him. And I'm surprised that the kids don't bring this up to him, and I'm especially surprised that they don't even consider that he's Pennywise and they believe him right away.
Matty, where have you been?
The general tells Leroy what Dick found out about Pennywise from Jamaican Jacob and then tells him the plan to capture Pennywise. And yes, you heard me right. It seems that the general doesn't want to kill it, but wants to use it as a weapon. So yeah, he's still doing that. And we finally find out what young Rose said to him when they were kids. And I like how she tells it to him straight when she finds out that he wants to capture Pennywise.
You think you can put a leash on this thing? It can't be controlled, Francis.
Ronnie's father gets sent to Shawshank Prison and even has someone take a shot at him during the transfer. All the more reason why Matty should tell the police that he's still alive. Leroy's wife is there though, and she actually sees Pennywise, which is interesting. Usually he reserves appearances like this for the kids, but again, I like how the adults are getting pulled into this as well. That's something I really like about this show. The adults are not just stupidly oblivious or anything like that, they are bought in on the action. So Leroy comes home, and I was kind of surprised that he tells his wife everything the general told him.
I gotta tell you something, okay? And as crazy as it's going to sound, I really need you to just believe me.
And I think they implied that he explained to his son as well off screen. So again, this is good character development. Leroy started out very closed off and disinterested in what this city was like, but now he's got alarm bells going off everywhere. And he's being more open to his wife and kids, so this is great development. This family really have grown to become my favorite characters in this show. And it certainly didn't start off that way for me. And also, there is a point where you hear on the news that someone got their leg chopped off with an axe, and that's exactly what happened to Paul Sheldon in Stephen King's Misery. The book, not the movie. So that might have been another reference to Stephen King's world. Lily also comes to meet her doctor, and I'm starting to think that this is probably not Pennywise. Because whereas before she was really encouraging Lily to continue her investigation, now she starts to show concern about Lily not taking Matty to the police, and she actually gives her some very wise words of advice. And then we find that she has a very stereotypical bad-tempered husband, which is practically a cliche of Stephen King stories. And I like how Lily forces Matty to take them to the sewers where they can save Phil, who according to Matty is still alive, or else she will tell the police and he can go back home to his father. And this whole time, I am still thinking that he is Pennywise, because only the kids that are being haunted by Pennywise have interacted with Matty, and no one usually survives Pennywise unless they become his proxy like Henry. So I'm still convinced that this is Pennywise. And the kids find the other entrance to Pennywise's lair, which we saw in the movies, all the whilst the military go to his lair through the house and are guided by Jamaican Jacob. Now, Jamaican Jacob did something really stupid here. He ditched them and loses his supernatural knife in the process, the very knife that his aunt said would keep him safe. I don't know what his plan was here. He should have stayed with them rather than heading off on his own. Now he's got 2 enemies to worry about. He's in a lose-lose situation here. There is no upside to his situation. He is f***ed. Speaking of which, Dick is also seeing visions of Pennywise and he has his box opened, which I am assuming is the same boxes that he talked to Danny about in Dr. Sleep. So God knows what is in that box of his. But it's cool that Pennywise is using this to scare him. And this made me think, I wonder if Dick has any shining abilities that can help him against Pennywise, because so far, it's just made him more vulnerable against him. And Pennywise kills a bunch of the military down here, and that's because many of them come up with the bright idea to split up into groups of 2.
Not a great plan.
Although, to be fair, even if there were more, they would still get killed, like we were shown in that flashback earlier. But I gotta say, I was disappointed with this whole sequence. This is Pennywise's home. Just think about the possibilities of what they could have done here, kind of like what they did with the 2 movies. They had a great setup, and I felt like they did the bare minimum here. The same for when Pennywise shows up. Now, on paper, his introduction was great, but I think because I saw it coming, and I suspected the whole time that this was not Matty, is why it didn't surprise me. I'm still super glad we are finally able to see Pennywise, and we see him. For 2 very short scenes.
Too bad. So sad.
Now, Will's father was seeing imagery of his wife and almost fell for it, but he took the shot just in time. And I like how when Leroy sees one of Pennywise's visions, his friend doesn't.
Charlotte, what the hell are you doing down here? Who the fuck are you talking to? Paula, you can't see her. See who? Are you fucking with me?
And that culminates in this scene when his son shows up and his friend gets in the way. That was a surprise. Now, if they developed his friend more, then I would have cared, but sadly, his friend took a huge absence from this show, so his death didn't have the impact on me that it should have had. And Lily quite clumsily gets separated from her group and Pennywise finds her, and she was almost going to die. But then... This was a huge relief and a big surprise. The knife that Jamaican Jacob lost actually saved her. And now they have this weapon to use against Pennywise, which they will most likely plan to use against him in the next episode. And Lily's nurse is the one who's Ronnie's father was in a relationship with. I actually called that as soon as he got in the car. And their story for this episode ends with them going to Will's mother for help, as Ronnie's father managed to escape his transfer and is now a wanted man. And with that, the episode ends. Quite underwhelming if I'm being honest. This episode just left me with questions. What happened to Jamaican Jacob? Is he still lost in the tunnels? How is Pennywise impersonating Matty the whole time and then simultaneously attacking the military in 2 completely different locations? Now, I thought Matty was Pennywise because his story didn't check out, but my brother thought his story did, and he thought it couldn't be Pennywise because he's attacking the military. Turns out he was wrong, and I was right. But it also feels like he was cheated, because technically, he is right. There is no way this could have been Pennywise if he was in 2 places at once. So although I was right, I don't feel like this is a win. It feels like they cheated both of us here. Also, they did a very bad job with Matty's dead body. The other kids looked fine, but this looked nothing like Matty. I think that's why they had some very obvious voice dubbing going on here.
That's Matty!
So yeah, overall, I was kinda disappointed. The whole thing with Matty was predictable, our characters not getting the police involved was stupid, especially for Ronnie here to not push for it because her father is her main motivation this season. And this was supposed to be the episode where Pennywise was supposed to go crazy with manipulating and killing the military, and when it was over, I found it to be so mediocre and forgettable. And when Pennywise finally showed up, in episode 5, it just felt like they made us wait too long, and the payoff wasn't worth it. I think they should have found a way to introduce him earlier, because this was not it for me. So this episode gets a high 6 out of 10. We only have 3 episodes left, so let's hope they make up for it. And we better get a lot more Pennywise.
Can you go as far on television as you did in the films?
It's pretty hardcore, man.
Well, I'm waiting, Bill. Let's see if it actually happens.